Hey friends, welcome back. Yeah, it's my turn.
Okay, good.
Welcome back into the Film Cave. With me as always is my good buddy Steve.
Always.
I'm Casey. Here we go.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so
We're
the big week, the big day is finally here.
Uh-huh.
It is Batman versus Superman here in the flesh. Are you super excited? Are you over it? What do you?
I'm over
What are you
it,
feeling?
but I'm over it, but I'm excited to see it.
It's been a long time coming.
Right. So this.
Yeah.
Because there was just so much of a slew of trailers. This being one, Suicide Squad, Captain America, that kind of stuff was like being kind of bombarded. And so this one coming out first, I was looking forward to more Civil War than this. But now that it's out, I'm excited to see what DC is going to start doing here.
Yeah.
What kind of way they're going to go.
Well, we've had several trailers for this movie too.
Right, which even one, a new one just barely came out too, a week before, or like the week it came out.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with it. Marvel has kind of had their hand, in the only hand in this thing for a long time now. So
yeah, it's good to get another horse in the race, if you will.
Yeah. So it's the longest. It'll be the longest superhero movie
so far.
Yeah, it's like over 2.5 hours long. So.
Right. Yeah. Be interesting to not to jump ahead or anything, but to check out that director's cut where they're adding 30 more minutes back in to the movie. So it's like a 3-hour long epic movie, which is just like wow.
That's pushing it.
Crazy.
3 hours for that kind of movie is pushing it.
Yeah, that's a lot going on.
Right. So
but I don't know. That's kind of exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what they do with it. Not necessarily that I've been wanting. This is the movie that I've been anticipating all year because it's not my most anticipated, but
right,
it'll be fun.
Yeah, I think of the early part of this year, it could easily be my most anticipated movie. Just waiting until March, like just those first 3 months.
I think it was good. It was smart of them to bring it in early. In the spring.
Right. Well, it's interesting. Yeah, it seems like the studios are looking for summer, so those big summer tentpole movies like earlier and earlier and earlier.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I think it was good of them to do that because that'll help the box office numbers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So in other news, so they just announced recently that they will be making an Indiana Jones 5.
Spielberg's back. Harrison Ford's on board.
Oh yeah.
David Coop, who wrote. The last one, the fourth one, I guess is back. He's going to write the screenplay, and it's got a 2019 release date.
Oh,
so
we haven't been recording. There we go. Now we're recording.
Oh, hey! Now you can hear us a little better.
Yeah, a little bit better. I was like, why isn't there not any?
There's no.
Now we're working.
There we go.
Anyways, so to recap,
it's a dry run.
Indiana Jones 5 with all the original
with the regular players.
I think they learned a lot from the fourth one
of what not to do.
Right.
The
direction they went with it was they were trying to keep up with the times, I think, and it just kind of went askew too far. There's a little bit of me that wishes Shia LaBeouf came back just to kind of make his character a little bit better.
I'm okay that they're not.
Right. A little bit of me, not.
It was either recast the part altogether as a younger Indiana Jones but older than Shia LaBeouf, or we just go with Harrison Ford one more time, and then it just makes sense. I mean, a lot of jokes out there, like geriatric Indiana Jones.
Well, that's the thing.
He's going to be in a wheelchair, cracking his whip, and
that's why it was good for Shia LaBeouf to be in it because he kind of did. They kind of passed on some of the stunts and stuff like that for him instead of leaving it to a 50-year-old.
And at that time, he was he was so big. And I know after Transformers and Steven Spielberg put a lot of faith in him, and then he just went off the rails. And he's done a couple other studio movies since, but. You just can't.
Transformers,
right? No,
the big star.
And he rejected it himself. He didn't want to do that stuff anymore.
Okay, so that's the thing. I think they should be
the franchise
the torch. Unless do you feel like they should have just left it at the third one?
Yeah, I would have been okay with with it being left at the third one. But I mean, it's exciting when Spielberg wants to do another one, and Harrison Ford says, "Well, it depends on the script," and then they get a decent shooting script, or what they thought was decent.
Right.
The fourth one had good elements to it, I think, parts of it just were
lots of people
cartoony or
right. Lots of people like hate it and they're like out of control. Like it wasn't that bad.
No, it really wasn't that bad.
Right.
Like I mean, there were just some, I don't know,
It went off in a direction that everybody was like, why?
Yeah,
why would you do
yeah.
that?
Well, and the expectations are so high for, an Indiana Jones story.
Right. I think it's a good thing to make sequels and prequels and that kind of stuff, and then also to get the original people to come back. I think that's exciting in itself. I think that's worth it to make another one.
For sure.
So I think they should do a passing of the torch to somebody,
right?
And then keep making them, which is fine because the whole concept and the whole character is fun to play with and to go on a different direction or different archaeological, adventures.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean. They can just keep. They can just
bring back Connery.
I think they talked to him before 4, and Connery said, he said, Mother Trebek. No, he said if anything could entice him to come out of retirement, it would have been Steven Spielberg and another Indiana Jones movie, but it just still. No, he didn't want to do it.
To have such a long time and then redo it and then have a sequel like Ghostbusters.
Right.
Same idea. It's a sequel to a movie that came out, 20 years ago, which is fine, and you're going in a different direction. That's fine. I just hope that they keep it in the realm because all they're doing is basically using the same name and getting money that way.
Right.
Right. They're not really, it's not the same guys. It's not the same, but it's like a Jurassic Park where it's the same idea, but they're taking it with a different direction with some new characters, and so hopefully they can pull that off.
This new term, like a spiritual sequel. Like it's not a direct sequel, but just like with 10 Cloverfield Lane being sort of a spiritual successor to Cloverfield, and then Richard Linklater has one coming out in a couple weeks that's kind of a spiritual successor to Dazed and Confused.
Right.
There's kind of a lot of this happen, like Ghostbusters. I feel like is sort of this spiritual successor to the original. They have the same like hearse and the car and everything, and like those elements that we know so well are just being reintroduced in a different way.
Right. So as long as because I think a lot of people get too hung up on wanting what they had back in the day, like everybody wants in the 1980s, Ghostbusters comedy, which is never
right. Well, it's. I can't remember the filmmaker, but he said he doesn't really like a lot of these remakes just because movies are such a time capsule of like that current time.
Right.
So I think there's room for both. I mean, and we don't really get a choice in the matter, right? So they're just going to produce what they want to produce, and you can you have that. These great, amazing movies of our childhood, and it's like, how dare they remake it, or, something that you just think is untouchable,
right.
And we can treasure it for that time that it represents then, and they're gonna, make all of these for new generations of audiences.
I think Ghostbusters is probably one of the ones that I refer to easily because it was one of those 80s comedy movies, and it had some good action. And you can't remake 80s comedies the same way today. The 80s comedies were totally different than 90s or even like today's comedy. It's just a different type of movie.
It's a different type of movie. We live in a different type of world.
Exactly. So if you want to take it that way, if you want that original, you want that 80s comedy, you're never going to get that. So you kind of have to have more of an open mind to be okay with the new comedies that are coming out if they're still going to use that kind of the same story, the same kind of development that from the original one. You're just not going to get that same kind of feel for it, which is exactly what you got in the trailer for Ghostbusters.
Right.
It was more of a modern comedy, kind of a little out of control, which is how it is now. And
exactly.
If it does well, then it does well.
Right, and like more slime, more like gross out humor. There's less
raunch.
Yeah. There's more raunch. There's less charm.
Right.
Than 80s movies, charming. 90s movies. There's less. There was like a sweetness to to those movies, and that's why we're so fond of these older movies, and and whatnot. And not to say that everything new is just
Doesn't
you
have
know
that.
it doesn't have that feeling. But they're harder. They're you know they're a harder movie because it's just like I said, it's a harder world. It's interesting, but just leave the backlash alone.
It's too much, too much hate on these movies.
Yeah, and it's constant. I mean, it's been 3 years of Ben Affleck bashing because he was cast as Batman, and
that's the number one question.
You don't know, you haven't seen the movie until this weekend.
Right, like a couple people asked me about it, knowing that I watch a lot of movies. Like, how do you feel about Ben Affleck? I'm like, he sounds great. I mean, they already made a deal that he's going to be doing his standalone directing Batman movies because they have that much faith in him, and I think he's an amazing director, and I think he can do the part, and I think it's going to be fun.
Well, and why not take it in a different way? Why does it have to be another Christian Bale type or a young Bruce Wayne? Like, make him a little bit older, make him a little bit more jaded, make him a little more angry. Like, why not? I mean, we just haven't seen it, so. Right. That's
what I'm saying. Like before Christopher Nolan, it got way campy, way, way commercial, and that's the way it went. And people hated it, and they stopped, and then they came back, and Christopher Nolan took it in a totally different direction, and people loved it.
Right.
And now it's going in a different direction now. So that's just the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
We've talked about this a couple of times where they've been coming out with these things where, you spend $2,000 on this machine that streams these movies that are out in theaters right away into your home.
Yeah.
But the point of it is to go out to the theater with people. I mean, I know it's not like a social thing necessarily because you're not talking, but I mean, it's the fact that you're in a theater.
Right.
You got the big speakers, you got the big screen. You're eating popcorn or whatever from the movie. Because the movie theater popcorn is totally different than the popcorn you make at home, even.
Well, yeah.
So so it's an experience, and that's what it's all about. Not necessarily watching it at home.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to watch these movies.
I mean, just to be swept away by the story is your hope.
Exactly.
Is my hope. It's tough because Netflix is such a huge animal right now, and watching movies on our phones and our tablets and just these small devices. It's like that. It's already heading towards watch the latest blockbuster right at home. Which has its appeal too. You can have people over to your house or something like that, but I still want to, be able to go out to the theater. And I know, people drive me crazy sometimes, in the audience or whatever, and it distracts you from the story you're trying to get swept up in, stuff like that. But
this is more like the comfort of your home.
But I mean, the movies they're making now are such. I mean, they're just such huge.
Can you imagine watching
scales,
Batman on your
why?
phone?
Why would you want to?
That sounds terrible.
There's no such thing as these mid-budget movies anymore. Right. They're $200 million, these epic movies, and you got to see them on the big screen.
Right. That's how they're meant. They shoot it to be seen in a theater.
Right.
They're not meant to be shown on your phone.
Yeah.
First thing.
And then when it after it comes out on Blu-ray or 4K or whatever, then it's appropriate to watch it at home. But those big tentpole movies.
I just don't want the theaters to stop. You can release it on the phone. You can release it the day it comes out, but don't stop putting it out in theaters because that would be a sad day.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the theater and how there's nothing coming out next week?
Yeah, sure.
So
with Batman vs. Superman coming out this weekend, there's really not much coming out for the next week.
Right.
So, and with the Easter holiday and everything like that, it's just Batman vs. Superman and Zootopia will continue to destroy.
My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2.
My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2 comes out as well, so there'll be a few theaters for that. Cloverfield's still doing really well.
Yeah, there's lots of good movies to catch up on. This is a good week to get your Batman vs. Superman and then say, I haven't seen these other movies, and I got an extra week now to see some movies before before the Boss comes out the week after next.
Mm-hmm.
So
The Boss, and then the Jungle Book after that.
Oh, right, the Jungle Book. That's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah.
So you got a couple weeks to start catching up on these movies that you haven't seen lately. So that's what you should do. Go see Batman vs. Superman and then watch all these other movies that are really good and haven't seen. That's it.
That's it. So I'll go see it after it's been out a week. Get past the Easter break.
Yeah. Her mom.
Mom, if you're in town, please invite me.
Steve would like to go to the
Please invite me along.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in to the Film Cave.
Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/The Film Cave Forever, and subscribe to their channel because it's awesome, and we release this stuff every week.
We have like 33 subscribers now, I think.
That's right.
Thanks for watching.
I'm excited.
Thanks for supporting us.
That's right.
Friends and family.
We
We love
post
you.
up on Facebook, so check out that kind of newsy stuff. And then
Newsies.
what else? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it, comment, do all that
Like,
stuff.
yeah. Some more comments.
Interactive
would be great.
Let's get some interaction.
Yeah, some
in these
interaction.
videos.
Yeah.
Tell us how you feel about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Send us some live tweets.
Okay. That's
Okay.
it.
All right. Yeah. All
And
right.
then
we're gonna
we'll
get out. We're gonna
see
get
you
out of here.
next time.
See you next time. Enjoy the movies.
Enjoy.